Adam, good to have you with us this morning for us here in Paris. So we've heard from the Australian Prime Minister. Australia was, of course, an important country for the Queen. How is she being remembered there?
Well, she's remembered very fondly in this country, and I think that's reflected by the fact that it's a very sad and sombre atmosphere here in Sydney today. A lot of Australians went to bed last night, first hearing about possible bad health for the Queen, and then they woke up to the very sad news that she had died this morning. The Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, he's been leading the tributes to the Queen, really. He made a televised statement talking about the relationship between Australians and the Queen. I mean, she came to visit this country 16 times during her reign, and in that time she always spoke very fondly about Australia. Many Australians got the chance to catch a glimpse of her. I think when she first came here in 1954 on one of her first visits to Australia, she actually got around 75% of the population actually got to catch a glimpse of the Queen. So she really has travelled a lot of this country. Lots of events today to mark her passing. There will be a gun salute a little bit later on. We understand that Sydney Opera House will also be lit up to help remember the Queen as well. And the Australian Parliament has now been suspended for 2 weeks, for 14 days, as a mark of respect. And we're expecting a lot more events in the coming days as well, really, as everyone, like many places around the world, start to process the death of the Queen.
As you say, Adam, she's very warmly remembered there in Australia. How do you think, though, if we turn to look ahead a little bit, we now have a new king, King Charles, has taken over from his mother. How do you think the situation might evolve in the coming years when it comes to Australia's place as part of the Commonwealth and having the British monarch as their head of state?
Well, I think it's going to be very interesting to see. I think it's certainly going to be a debate here. It was already a debate before this news. I think now that there will be a change of monarch, it's going to bring on that debate. It will be interesting to see exactly when that debate does start. I've even seen on a couple of Australian news websites today a couple of articles already looking ahead to whether or not the country does now need a monarch looking forward. I think a lot of people had so much respect for the Queen. I mean, there is a Republican movement here. There was even a referendum back in 1999. So there are segments of society who do want to see things change. I think now that we are moving on to a new king, it might be time for that debate to take place. Obviously, it's too early for leaders to really be talking about that. But I think the mood of the nation is very much sad at the moment, very sombre. But I think they will now start to have those conversations, have those questions about whether or not they do want to have a British monarch as the head of state moving forward. I mean, there's still lots of support for the royal family here, certainly lots of interest as well. But I think it's going to be interesting to watch how that debate evolves, probably in the coming weeks.
There and, of course, in other Commonwealth nations around the world. Adam Hancock, our correspondent in Sydney, thank you so much for joining us.